There we go. Hamad says, so what we're going to talk about this update session? We're going to talk about updates. I'm going to explain where we're at. Show some things, not many things, but some things. Let me share my screen. Entire screen, this one. See, everybody is coming up with new interfaces and stuff, which is pretty awesome. Okay. Did I close PowerPoint? Yeah, I've been fighting with Windows, man. It just like restarts to update things while you're working now. It doesn't even ask you. Okay. Yeah, look, if it wasn't for Unreal Engine and gaming in general, I would probably ape into Mac. I mean, but I have to say that let's guess, but if it wasn't for this update thing, I mean, I don't trust Windows anymore because I can't find a setting. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've been on Windows most of your life, you're not intimidated by that stuff, you know. Where on earth is... No? There's some stupid things that happen, you know, like now. Okay, there we go. I wanted to grab this, yeah. Explain this system to Hamad so that so Rafiki Fata Kiki la 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 la. Kiki is like photo, but it rhymes with Rafiki. So in essence, I'm singing Rafiki takes a photo. La 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 la. There we go. So we can jabber about that. Now the question is, everybody who's watching live, can you see? Blush, do you mind checking, or if you can hear yourselves? So you can't hear yourself. No, I mean, is the audio feed going out to X, or people just going to hear me talking to myself as usual? Oh, why, man? I mean, I've activated all the buttons. Okay, stand by. There's already 16 people. See, I'm hearing myself, hear myself. Okay. Why, man? Okay, let's quickly solve that problem. See, that's silly, man. There's lax. Okay, so what seems to be the problem here? I'll restart the... I'll restart the stream if I need to. Well, I don't think I'd need to. Okay, I'm going to stop screen. Right, there we go. Present, share screen, entire screen. Boom. Also share system audio. Yes. Share. Yeah. Got it. All right. Okay. So now we can listen again. Check it, Lex. I love the comments system. FQ6X is hating. You guys are welcome on stage, you know? It's just FQ. Yes. Yeah, Rafiki is like, I'm a dude, bro. So, okay, test again. Like, check if you can hear yourself, hear yourself. Mm-hmm. Oh, why? We're in this eternal loop now. Wonder why it's doing that, man. Something broken now with their new update. Yeah, dude. Yeah, they just. Hey, let's make D. We would be better if we didn't have this nonsense happening where it's not playing the system audio. Let's see. Settings, audio, mic, virtual recording. No, man. No, that's silly, man. That it can't hear you guys. I mean, you're front and center on stage. Let me try. If I just stream Discord. Tra la 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 la. Share screen. Window. Mm-hmm. What seems to be the problem? Yeah, there's always some issue if you want to Web3 things. Well, I'm sorry, everyone. You won't be able to hear. You'll have to join Discord if you want to hear what the other dudes are saying. Yeah, we're fighting many technical battles here. It's like right now, the next big battle that we're fighting is for. And that's kind of one of the last huge mountains that need to tumble is for you to be able to see your NFTs in game and actually play them. So we got it working nicely, and now we've got to get it working in the game itself. So we got it working in Unreal Engine in our build, and now many plugins have to be plugged in, switched on, fiddled with, so that because it's just because you know how important this strategy is for which I'm going to show now. So our priority is for the game itself to stimulate the player-to-player marketplace, and for that player-to-player marketplace to really hum. Everything about the game needs to focus and excite the player and give the player cores to do higher and higher levels, which I think is very fun. So, Blush, I showed you this, or was it just that I can't remember if I chatted about this on a call with Rob or if I showed you as well. Are you judging me? Is that what's going on here? So, well, I astrologize. I think it was one of those calls where I phoned you and Rob at the same time and only he answered. Yes, that's what happened, because you've got like a real life job, because you got to do what real people do, pay rent and all that kind of thing. So not my fault. Okay, so I think this is pretty cool. I'm watching the comments as well, and FQ, you're welcome to chip in, and not you, Tamsin, because you always give me more work when you disagree with something. Then I have to like actually use my brain. I prefer not to use my brain. I've only got one brain cell, and it overheats easily. Okay, so the idea here is, you'll see over here the tier. I thought, imagine this. So where you check it. FQ's got a brandblusser, fire extinguisher. So like the you can either go into an arena loop and then work your way up through the difficulty tiers, or in your difficulty launch, you want a tier that's dropping commons, right? So to kill the bosses that drop commons, it's going to get more and more difficult. So if you just want to launch straight into that common, then you need to go into the common with a fully infused rare build. So you guys remember how the infusion works, where let me do a quick refresher for everyone here. Where's the infusion stuff that I was doing here? So as if you recall, this is your main card, and then you infuse all the other cards you're not using, and then that cranks up defensive, offensive, all that kind of thing. So we were looking at the possibility, and Rafiki did this nice thingy. Oh yeah, that's in a Excel. It's not in here, but it gives you kind of a AR rating almost, because these numbers are going up, and there was like an overall number, which is the multiplier rating. But we're looking at that. So it would give you an equivalency of like, an exotic, if you've now infused the heck out of some of your cards. But these numbers keep going up the more you put other NFTs into that one card. Just checking, Rafiki says, will the infusion of Lucille's happen outside of the game, like in OSP user portal? So the infusion, I'll show you where Lucille's go. So principally the infusion is, you've got your standard infusion, yeah? So you've selected the card, your main card over here, and then that's an ultra exotic, so it opened up 25 infusion slots. And then you're going to choose, is this principally what? Is it a damage dealer principally? Is it a healer? Is it a whatever? Also got some cool stuff to show you guys tonight about the mobile. But let's say you decide that you want this card to principally be a healing card, then you would, at the top, you'd infuse your Lucille, and then if you want this Lucille to have higher effects, then you would infuse more Lucille's and more healer class things into that Lucille, So you'd have a fully infused Lucille. But as an exotic, it already comes at 0.5, but you could increase that multiplier with more stuff goes. The more stuff you infuse in there, the more effect it has overall on everything here. So everything would have a little bit of a multiplier. And then in here as well, if you've got a lot of Lucilles, you can put them all in there because Lucilles have the highest multiplier rate. It says, is the infusion permanent? That's what we're working on. So initially, we're not going to have a permanent infusion, so you can pull cards out. Because if you decide that you want to switch to a Healy sniper build, you can still experiment. But if you decide later on that you want to take a fully infused NFT and put it on the marketplace, then you can do the equivalency of a burn. And then what happens is at that, the reason we call it an equivalency is because at that burn, it doesn't destroy these cards. It sends these cards back into the ecosystem. So it goes back into the loot boxes. So other players will be able to get hold of them. But once you've done this burn, so let's say you've got 25 ultra exotics in here and you do but this Bitpunk is leveled up to ultra exotic, then it becomes, what's it called again, Blush? It is a and you burn it so that you can start infusing stuff again. You prestige it. That's what it's called. So because we don't really want to burn, that's why we got the keys as well, because we don't want to burn Lucilles. We'd rather burn keys when you guys open up the boxes. But yeah, so that's where this exciting system comes in here, where if you want to be going after pure ultra exotic drops when you're killing bad guys, then it would be an ultra exotic build plus 100% nano infusions and synergy bonuses, because those things are going to be so difficult. It's really the equivalency of the Destiny 2 Grandmasters. Is there anything more difficult than a Grandmaster, Blush? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So raids, Rafiki says his wife on a Wednesday is more difficult than a Grandmaster. That's so funny. Yeah, so the idea is, so I popped this thing on Discord, and then Rob was interrogating me, saying, okay, well, what does the noob mean? Because we understand that for common drops, you need a fully infused rare build. So when you launch, you get noob cards, and they're uninfused. So that difficulty level, see, Blush, I think you're picking up what I'm putting down here. That difficulty level lets you earn commons. So, and a bunch of commons, you can sell them on the marketplace or level them up to become rares by fighting on this noob level here. So you fight, and then you get some infused gear. However, we'll try and make it so that at least one common drops every night, because it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. So then you get to a place where you've got a fully infused rare build, then you can handle these noob bosses, and then those bosses are going to drop some, a common from time to time. So we should probably stipulate that at the noob level, because then if you want to go for the commons, you're going to need at least a bunch of rares infused with a bunch of commons to be able to handle those bosses. So to give perspective on how those difficulties work, what was I watching? So you'll check like a Destiny Grandmaster. That's why when we came into crypto Twitter, we thought everybody was saying Grandmaster, Grandmaster, Grandmaster. Check at this Lake of Shadows. What? And this was put on here yesterday. That's so funny. This is like one of the oldest ones. Anyway, so in Destiny 2, you'll see. I mean, this would be the equivalent of a fully infused ultra exotic build. What you're seeing here is how easy they go through this. Now, if you had to try with normal gear, go through this, then you would hear Blush using language that's not very Christian. So yeah, nothing. See, so this guy's yes. So over here you see the yellow, those yellow numbers. Those are crits. See, so in your build, if you want to get lots of yellow numbers and stuff, you want to build for crits, and you want to infuse things that help you get critical hits. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have ridiculous fun. See, and there's like little things above. I mean, this is moving too fast for people to really see what's going on. If you play Destiny 2, you know what's going on here. But let's jump to like a boss fight at the end there. This guy's just esoteric. He's soloing a Grandmaster. Of course he is. This is arguably, if not the best, one of the best Destiny 2 players, and he's doing something that is very difficult. Usually it's a 3-man job, this. I mean, just the fact that he's still playing Destiny 2 is impressive. Anyway, I think that's too crazy. But anyway, so there's like levels of difficulty when you do these things. Then we've been working out, and these are principles will apply as well to the mobile. So we've been working on what the mobile is going to look and feel like, and because the mobile is going to be, it's called a roguelite bullet heaven. So pretty much this vibe over here, you know, not like this with 10,000 things attacking, but it's pretty much like that little guy over there with your turrets all set up, and it's auto fire. So it's a lot of fun on your mobile where you just running around your phone. And we'll probably also make the potato laptop versions with this vibe over here, where you know you just kind of click around with your mouse to have this guy running around, which is, yeah, go for it. Exactly like that. You'll see a co-op mode where you can join on people, and then you join on each other, and you would have because we're working on like it's each one has a limited amount of turrets they can put down and a limited amount of whatever. Rafiki's, then I can play also. Yes, that's the idea, on everybody to be able to play. You know, yeah, you'd be able to play with anyone, because that's the thing. So in our version of the game, that one that you guys have seen that I was working on, that you've seen in the video and everything, that for you to be able to play with on your cell phone, anything else, you would have quite heavy penalties on things like crit hits. So you wouldn't easily, I mean, you wouldn't be able to shoot anybody in the head or anything like that from this view. That's specifically the guys who are down there aiming at the head. But from this view, you can have a bullet heaven loadout where, you know, you'd probably be able to get some crits, some explosions. So bullet heaven is bullet hell is when the boss is shooting bullets in every direction, and bullet heaven is when you're shooting things in every direction. So this game is a lot of fun. It's called Deep Rock Galaxy Survivor, Deep Rock something or the other. And for me, like these games, you know, they're a lot of fun, but they don't have the longevity of a story-driven, you know, cooperative multiplayer thing that we're building. But it's very cool. And here's the look. So this is so we're busy, you know, raising our next bit of money so that we want to get this full. All these maps are like $200 a pop here, so we want to get all of them, but they're very, very nice to me. Where's the video? So these guys have already built out all of the. Why you no video, bro? Yeah, this is now Unity Asset Store for you. Okay, I'm just gonna copy that and then pop it into YouTube so we can have a bit of a walk around. So this is the look that's gonna work really nicely. We see it's pretty cool, eh? That's the mobile single player look. So once we've got all these single player builds sorted, we can then start looking at the multiplayer. Multiplayer needs a lot of live services. Yeah, that's cool, eh, Ahmad? So it needs a lot of services. So we've got to, and this is quite important for what the investors are asking for. We've got to have numbers, money coming in, and daily active users, and a built community, that kind of thing. So of our single player builds for PC and for I mean, this potato version, funnily enough, this is the potato version and the mobile version, which I think is going to look sexy as heck. So these versions over here, we want them to be incredible, you know. We want them to be an incredible experience that looks great for its device. And then when we're ready, you'd then be able to look at the multiplayer where you're seeing, you know, a combination of these kind of looks and feels. Although this is the color scheme I always had in mind, just with high-res characters. Ahmad says this potato version looks better than most of those Web3 games advanced versions. Yeah, it's awesome, eh? Yeah, so it's very cool. So all the characters, everything. Yeah, so our idea is that it's fun, it feels good. You know, you've got the same loadout that you built for any version will work in another version, but that would be the Epic Games version, because the Epic Games version, which will be on all the devices, would be the Web3 version. Then we're going to have the Steam version and the iOS and Play Store versions that are, and Roblox, that are basically pure advertising campaigns for us, and they've got like limited playable turrets and towers in them. FQ says all new phones will be launching with OSP as a default game. Damn right. That's the idea, because it's free. You know, like the business model is all about the marketplace, specifically the player-to-player marketplace. Bloatware, yeah. Lucille movie. Now we're dreaming. Let's go, FQ. That's exactly what the idea is. Yeah, so I think it's we're on the right track. All the assets are done. All of these things are ready. Now we're just working on the gameplay mechanics for mobile. We've got to make that stuff light and easy and lemon squeezy. Yeah, well, we've literally written the Lucille movie universe for cinema. It's like hyper cinematic in nature. The LCU, Lucille Cinematic Universe. I like that. But anyway, yeah, so I think it's looking pretty fly. It's looking quite swag, I think. And then, then on the lore side of things, it's quite exciting because we're really aiming for grimdark, which is like a Warhammer style of storytelling. But Joe Abercrombie is my favorite grimdark writer, and Mark Lawrence. And grimdark, makes things super realistic and brutal. In what would it be like to experience life in that time? So this doesn't look very grimdark, but the lore that builds up to all of it really is, because you're killing all these things that are flooding in. Let me just check. So the first map that we were working on, because it's tower defense, so I just want to find, what was it? It was the Goblin something or the other. It's an outdoor map that we're starting on. It's this one, the Apocalypse Wasteland. That's very cool. I think this is the first one we're potentially starting with. It's got a bit of a Borderlands vibe. Yeah, it's either this one or the Goblin one, but it's cool. So when you're outside, let me get a top-down thingy over here. You're defending. This looks very Borderlands to me. But so you're trying, the things mustn't come through there, and you're like shooting them and doing all the, this is the vibe. I love this apocalyptic wasteland. It feels very in between. So you've got this brutality of what's going on in the in between, and we're busy with the full on lore for the lore for Gunny now, and that's where we're starting with the first grimdark storytelling experience, because I'll do a deep dive with you guys for lore now. Well, a shallowish overview of the deep dive. So I like it. I love it. And Diablo was really good at that. When they kind of tie the game lore or mythology to accepted kind of religious themes, and one of my favorite fields of study. Thanks, FQ. Enjoy your dinner, my man. He's heading off for chow. One of my favorite fields of study in theology was between hermeneutics and demonology and angelology. So I've always been very interested in what motivates, Lucifer to turn against God. So in the in-between, remembering that the in-between is the place of angels and demons. That's because they open the portals and they go through the spiritual realm before they can do interdimensional jumps. So the in-between is this place where we can really study and go deep beyond just the story of Lucille, because Lucille's soul tie as a prime. So the prime mages and prime healers, they're connected to different angels. I'm wondering if I actually brought that in somewhere. I don't think I would have put it in here. It's actually a cool idea. So let me do a slide like that. Oh yeah, we got to show what our TCG is going to look like. Blush. I love what our TCG is going to look like. Well, I think it's going to be amazing. Anyway, but first, let me take a selfie. Eek. A bit of a flow chart here. So you've got at the top of your chart, you've got, let's say, creator, right? Okay. So you've got to have this high hierarchy overview for your magic to make sense, your magic system. So let me do this, get rid of these little things. Okay. So the creator has archangels, and then under the archangels, you've got just normal angels. So it's like seraphim and cherubim and all those kind of things. Not going to go into that thing. And then it's got primes. So your primes, I'm putting my glasses, I can't see anything. Let's go. So your primes typically would be prophet, wise man or woman, and then teacher. So typically that's a biblical theme. The primes are usually the prophet, wise man, teacher. So in our case, it's a healer, a mage, and a tank, So typically lined up with theological things, your healer is on that prophet, wise person, teacher. Generally, the mage is the teacher, the tank is the wise person, and the healer is the prophet. So, and these primes have got soul ties to the angels, which have got soul ties to the archangels. And then if you want, to connect, then it's the player, So the or NPC faction. So in those angels, there's also demons. Archangels, archdemons. So now here's the thing in what I love about studying this kind of angelology, demonology in that systematic theology, like a genuine theological study. I've got a good 16 years of. If I'd done structured study, I probably would have been professor. So it was always my favorite field of study in all the theological seminaries and courses that I did. Hey, Antonius, good to see you. So in our lore flow, to allow us to really go high, you've got creator, and then under the creator, you've got the advocate, and you've got the prosecutor. So in Christian lore, Jesus takes the role of advocate, so it's creator as advocate, and then the prosecutor is always Lucifer. So because we've got to justify here why the bad guys can still connect to an archdemon or a demon via Lucifer and still have that soul tie through the creative realm. because the soul ties require an emotional connection, and that's very important for our storytelling. Is that the player is connecting to one of these primes. So who are the primes? They're Lucille, Katsu, and Apt, and you've got this emotional connection with them, and they in turn have emotional connection with corresponding angels. They have, and those angels have soul bounds or soul ties with archangels, and up it goes to either the advocate or the prosecutor. So, the prosecutor being Lucifer, now who's called the accuser of the brethren. So anybody on this side, on that, I probably should make little blocks and stuff, but I'll do that when we flesh it out nicely. But anybody on that prosecutor side is really going to move by, accusation, weakening, a narcissism, where they always position themselves as the victim, and that allows for some really fantastic. So the mentality, it allows for fantastic psychometric. Check here. So it's the victim mentality. And on this side, it's the victor mentality. And this allows really for people to kind of discover where they themselves are as human beings in playing the game. Because no matter what we do in this game, we came here to make lives better, right? So if we want to make people's lives better, we have to help them in their mentality. So the victor mentality is the long-term relationship, or rather, let's say long-term planning. And the victim mentality is reactive subsistence mindset. Subsistence, yeah. So that victim mentality always makes itself, it doesn't want to be the bad guy ever. So it writes its own story. So if you take the prosecutor, Lucifer, he doesn't think that he's the bad guy in this story at all. And when you, in 5 years or whatever, after the story starts, the lore starts, and you work your way, because first you've got to, have a relationship with some low-level NPCs and understand, like, how they place themselves on the stage, and then you work your way up to the primes, and you see that the primes never place themselves as victims, but Samuel at some point starts to allow the victim mentality. This was done to me. He starts to look backwards, and Old Testament wise, there's a great thing. He connects so that he turns to salt. When you look back at your previous life or what you did yesterday, you turn to salt because you can neither move forward nor backwards. That's the whole lore of it. Hamad says, if a healer is Lucille, mage is Katsu, tank is Up, then what role does Crispus have? Crispus, because he has been around for 2,000 odd years, has found balance. So he has got a beautiful soul tie with all of them. So where he started out as pure mage, so principally he's a mage, but he has very strong tank and healer abilities. So if you have a soul tie with Crispus, then you're soul tying to balance, and that means you've got bits of each one. So you wouldn't have like this massive. So let's say instead of 0.5 multiplier, you'd have like a 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, something like that. So if you want to build yes, he's a universal card. That's it. Very good, Hamad. Yeah, he's and that's going to really be prevalent in the TCG version. But yeah, so lore-wise, you really want to. We want players to really enjoy this parallel to what is, so in a conversation, you'd be able to have a conversation with all the Abrahamic religions, and because you know the Abrahamic religions make up almost 4.5 billion people on Earth. You know, so that's a fun market to be able to communicate with in as an accurate manner as possible, and it makes business sense because obviously we want that marketplace to marketplace thing to matter. So later on, when you start having these archangels as actual NFTs and infusible things at the higher levels, because let's say, I mean, we haven't really thought about this or fleshed it out at that level yet, but Lucille, who's below rank of an angel, because, you know, biblically we are a little lower than the angels, so that if you actually have a genuine angel, that's a higher multiplication rate, you know, multiplier that you infuse. And archangels would be, again, you know, much higher multiplication or infusion multiplier. So it would crank up your sorry, I'm like working here, so that's so small for everybody. It would really crank up that ability. But again, the AI would help us to get these angels and archangels. You would have to really go through the AI's training to help you as a human being. You've got you've got to have conversations that are going to have a profound effect on you, shifting from a victim mentality where you live a life of reactive subsistence. So subsistence is it's where you're just living day to day and you're responding to people saying bad things about you, or believing what politicians say, or believing what the mainstream media, or even what people on X say, you know. Instead of a long-term planner is a completely different kettle of fish, because they study before they act. They understand before they act. They seek first to understand before seeking to be understood. It's a whole other level. You've got such power when you're a long-term planner, because you believe that all things have nuance and context. So the reactive person says, for instance, on a racism side, they'll say all black people or all white people or all these people or those people. They'll use terms like you know, all Nigerians, all Arabs, all white people, all Americans. They use terms like that because they react to any information that is sent that way, and they don't drill down to the truth of it, that it's that person and that person. Whereas the victor gives everything nuance. Everything has context. There's no context for the victim. The victim only sees what's happening to them, and basically lives by blame. I mean, that's that mentality. You see, so in the lore, we'll teach you that in real life, whether these are metaphors or whether they're real to you via religion, you will learn that in real life, the reason that you struggle in relationships and financially and that kind of thing is because you're living by blame. We've got a little saying here when we mentor people, it's when you blame, you lose the game. Because even if someone else is to blame for the issue, you've just given away your power to change everything. You no longer have responsibility over that problem, because you've given all of your power to solve that problem away by laying it at somebody else's feet. And that person, if they are to blame, are not going to fix it anyway. So you're just trapped. You just turn to salt again. Whereas if it's long-term planning and you've got a mentality, we call it the 10 two-letter words of faith. If it is to be, it is up to me. See? So Ahmad says, I agree with that. As an Abrahamic religion follower, I like this totally. I can relate to it a lot. Like the stories that I read from the scriptures and heard from my elders really gives a great sense of connectivity. Yeah, I've always loved that. I've always loved even like Blush loves Warhammer lore. And so because of Blush, I've been listening to all the audio books. Blush is rough, bro. That's Warhammer. It's very good, yeah. But it's raw. Geez, like it's nightmare fuel. Some of those planets are anyway. So now this helps us drill into like some deep and very rough stuff when we're playing the game and writing the lore, because people do terrible things in the name of victimhood. So we see like how people bomb each other. Like right now, if you look like what's happening in Syria right now, I mean, people are filming themselves killing Christians, women and children. And now you would say, okay, that's Islam doing that. But it's actually, it's George and Pete and Fred, and, they're the ones actually doing that. It's people with names who grew up in particular villages, in particular cultural mindset. And but now other people would now take that and not even live in Syria. They wouldn't even have anything to do with Syria. They wouldn't know anybody who lives in Syria. And as a Christian or a Jew, they would say, well, that's all Muslims, or like a Muslim who doesn't even live near Palestine would say, well, that's all Jews. But if you've met individual human beings, you'll be able to have a victor mentality, because you're drilling down to the factors that produce that mentality in that particular group of people, and you'd actually be free, because you wouldn't like be angry and attacking your neighbor. The guy lives right next door to you and would help you anytime, if you need water or whatever. And we can then allows us then to go into the depths of the depravity of the human mind when they place themselves as victim, because a victim needs an aggressor. The victim needs someone's guilty. Someone is doing this to me. So they'll talk about, like here in South Africa, they're consistently trying to stimulate racism, like consistently. They being politicians and media. Like they try their best. I mean, they do it in America nonstop. They try and stimulate these things consistently, and the way you rescue people from that rubbish, because in reality the world is only separated by the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the poor. If you go and have a look, you'll see that you'll find a Christian, Muslim, a Hindu, and a Jew. If they've got lots of money, they're on holiday together. Their religion is green. But the poor are stimulated against each other for the sake of the rich. And people don't realize that. Like religion, politics, these socioeconomic things are weaponized. And it's only possible if you're in a victim mentality. So, I mean, I'm going quite deep. So the lore, like, really goes and looks into those things. And it allows you to, when you're connecting to these demons, these archdemons, because in my belief system, these are actually thought controllers that you give power. It's like, the shadow dog and the light, the dog made out of light and the dog made out of shadow in your spirit. And they say, which one is more powerful? Well, the one you feed the most. If you feed it hatred, it's going to get very strong. Anyway, so that's pretty allows us for some serious grimdark, because the nature of a man when they put themselves as victim is you do terrible things. So there will be stories of how people who literally give themselves over to those demons, and the demons are physical in the in-between. Well, they're also physical when they come out of those portals. And they don't help their own. They don't, all that kind of thing. Cool, Blush. Yeah, I'm loving the lore already. Can't get better than we learn real life lessons from the game. Yeah, we went deep philosophical discussions. You know, we want that rage going on forums and Reddits, and where people like really debate both sides of the law, because we will write it accurately. I've written some things where from the point of view of the writer, where they're having a debate, they're arguing with Satan and with Lucifer, and then Lucifer's like convinced that God is the bad guy, you know, because this is the way of the narcissist. The narcissist cannot see themselves as the bad guy, so you know, Lucifer represents narcissism straight through, and it really helps you look in the mirror of when you're being narcissistic, because remember, most people are not narcissists, they're narcissistic, because I can be narcissistic in many ways. Narcissism is when you put yourself first, and in putting yourself first, you might do things wrong. And then when someone comes to you and says, listen, what you did was wrong, you gaslight them. You say, well, it's your fault that I hurt you. You know, you go in that direction because you just refuse to be wrong. You refuse to position yourself as anything other than the victim. So the person comes to tell you that what you did really hurt them, or what you did has hurt a lot of people, and you're like, no, I'm actually the victim right now of you twisting my words or attacking me, or you know, and that's because you connect to a theme, a theme of victimhood. And to position yourself as the victim, you never get to be the victor ever. Because it's impossible to achieve the victory that you think you want. There will never be a point where you've beaten anybody, because if you hurt somebody, you've lost as well. But anyway, besides the point. So then just a quick update on standby. What? Where did I put this? The TCG version of the game. So we always had this in mind. Sorry, I just want to find where I did put it. Huh? Here we go. Well, sorry. Yeah, like a tactical card game, because these are cards, right? I'm zooming out quite considerably here. So this is a look and feel. Well, I've got this picture somewhere. Let me see if I can go full screen with it. Pictures, OSP. I think it was in here. How big can we go? I think, yeah, that's biggish enough. Let's do this. So the look and feel, it was always built around the principles of a tactical card game, and the idea was to always have that ability to head towards augmented reality, you know, the AR. So you'll see the AR glasses are becoming more and more achievable, as in small AR glasses that kind of look like work glasses. So I'm going to try and explain this. I think you guys will be able to understand. And again, remember, we're just giving your cards, your NFTs, more and more purpose in the universe, and the infusion systems apply here, everything, and one of the ideas here is that it must feel like a physical board game, right? So if you've ever played And let's start off with that. I'll just quickly grab this here. So if you've ever played Space Invaders, right? Old Space Invaders. The old school arcade Space Invaders. Remember this thing here, where things are getting closer to you. So the question for us was, how do we make a board game that's a tower defense? And the principle would be like this. See, so every round things get lower and lower, and you want to whack them before they get to you. So in our case, you'd be putting down towers to stop these waves before they get to you. So now imagine this. If you let your imagination do the heavy lifting, coming at you here is pretend these are bad guys, not good guys. We just shoved in a lot of towers here for when you're playing against another human player. Hello, my bum bum. My little one came to cuddle me. Yes, what's happening? Are you playing hide and go seek from yourself? Okay, I'm gonna call my rings.
I don't want you to be in a meeting.
I'm almost finished. Let's see, it's just another 20 minutes and we finished.
So 20 minutes and then you're finished?
Yes. Okay.
Because me and Megan want to play hide.
Okay, you want to play hide and seek? Okay, I'll
Yeah.
come play with you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you.
Okay, right. So if you imagine these being the bad guy cards and they're coming down, it's turn-based as those kind of collectible card and tactical card games are. So you imagine they come down one level, and you need ranged cards over here to whack them before they get down. So you need to hit that boss as many times before he gets down to the bottom. Because when he gets to the bottom, like every round they're coming closer and closer. So you're putting your turrets down here on this battlefield, and then when something hits the battlefield, they'll like shoot. So remember, some of them are gonna hit. They're gonna hit shields. Some of them are gonna hit armor. They're all gonna do something different. But these are your player cards, and they're able to hit all the way at the top here. So it's a lot of fun, where things are coming down one row at a time, and in the PowerPoint here, we show how you can play co-op. So you can play, like 3 players at a time. So you'd be able to do this around a kitchen table as well with augmented reality, with that being the main battlefield that you put your cards on, and the enemies, this being the enemies that are coming closer. And, you can all 3 put your cards down at the same time. And in one round, you all getting a chance to shoot together at the bad guys that are coming down. But it's, round 1, poop, they come down. Okay, shoot. They can shoot back. And then next round, you shoot, they shoot back. Next round, now they're on the battlefield. Now your turrets are going to auto shoot. And, that's the fun part of it, is that you're kind of working together as a team. So that's pretty cool. So the kind of big things we're working on now is getting the integration done. And while the integration's getting done, we've started working on the mobile, and we've started searching for our developer who would specialize in tactical card games to build this. Although we'd probably be able to use our current developers, because this is such a easy comparatively, it's an easy game mode to build, because all the artwork is done, so it's pretty damn cool. And, that's that. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions. That's our update. There's a lot of things happening, so we're still trying to raise like crazy. That's been like super duper challenging. I think so far off our market, off our crowdfunding thingy. I think we're doing a myth ad now because I explained it too good that I don't have questions now. Okay, I might. We've raised maybe about $500. We still have to hit that $11,000 mark. So I think we're seriously looking at potentially, presenting to some angel investors. If we can get away with not having to give up huge amounts of equity, we definitely will. But we're looking at strategies where we can, do these raises. Hello, Winnie. There's Charmaine saying hi from Facebook. So we're looking at, fundraising strategies and stuff, because we're noticing that in Web3 per se, people are not as excited about the game elements as they are about the token elements and the NFT elements, which is a little disappointing for me, but it's reality. So we might need to look at Web 2 as a central fundraising thing. So literally launch on Kickstarter, like Kickstarter. And seriously look at versions for Steam and those kind of things. Unless we find a very Web3 centric angel of some sort. But we're doing everything in our power to not sacrifice the financial integrity of the game. Yeah, and I think that's it. That's most of what I wanted to share. Okay, Rafiki, is very exciting. Really love being part of the community. Manu, when we chat again in Players, I have a few questions, maybe suggestions on the infusion system. Sure. Will do. Anyway, I am going to play hide and seek with my kids. And then I am going to climb into bed a little bit. Get rid of this damn tick bite fever. Micaiah says, is it only me or is this coming interestingly fascinating? Yay. Yeah, we find it fascinating ourselves. We're having such fun building out the universe. Yeah, see Lex and Hamad. Yes, see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you all. Thanks, Lex, Hamad, Rafiki, Sammy, Blush. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the update. Les toodles.